So today's video is probably going to be a little bit different from something that you expected. Yes, I have no foil on yet. You normally see me when I do my videos for people who watch the channel. I'm kind of happy. I'm always in the positive mindset because I have that, be happy and happy things come and kind of stuff like that. But today's video is going to be a little bit different. You can call it a rant. You can call it me moaning. You can call it me, I don't know, being entitled, whatever you want to call it. It's just that Warhammer Fest has happened, and I absolutely think it was bad. It just was not fun. It was a mess. Management just messed it up. Games Workshop, you absolutely ruined something that is, well, I've been looking forward to for the past, 3 years, ever since, the Rona stuff that was going around and we haven't had them. And I thought, okay, this is it. We're coming back. It's going to be as big as ever. And it was just awful, in my opinion. Now, before I go into the depths of that, I just want to say the staff at the event, and when I say staff, like the ground troops, the people who were teaching 10th edition, the people serving in the store, the people serving food, the people in the Golden Throne Room and stuff like that, they were beyond incredible. This is not a critique of them at all. It's about the actual event itself and how it was run by whoever organized it at Games Workshop. Also, a little bit of a disclaimer, because I want to try and be as open and honest as humanly possible. I had the highest tier ticket, which was, well, I say it's probably the second highest tier ticket, because there was a content creator pass, and then there was the £1,000, was it £1,000 and £80 Golden Throne ticket pass, and that gave you personal access to the Golden Throne Room. You got a big box of goodies. I've already done the unboxing of that. If you want to go and check it out, check out my previous video. I'm going to be giving that away to you chaps because you paid for that ticket. I just got the normal 3-day pass, and then one stream you're like, no, Valrak, we're paying you, you're getting that. So that's all down to you, chap. So thank you for that. That is, a whole story within itself. So yeah, I more or less got premium access to everything. Like, if I wanted to, I could mostly skip every single queue. And this is going to be one of the big subjects about Warhammer Fest, is just how much of it was literal queues. So day one, it opened at 8 AM, if I'm not mistaken. For certain ticket holders, there was a whole debacle about the previous night. They sent out a notification saying certain tickets only allowed in at 10 AM, when they were advised before that they would be allowed in at 8 AM. So that was a whole stupid situation that GW caused themselves. Luckily for me, this is not my first rodeo. I used to always be, I'm going to be the first one through the door, that kind of thing. But I've just gone off that now. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to roll up at 10, 11 when there's no queues there, go in. Hopefully it'll be a bit more calm down, and I can enjoy the event. I can enjoy the venue. Of course, if most of you are watching this channel and you've watched me, we did a watch along. We actually just stayed in here and watched the watch along, and then I left and went to Warhammer Fest. So I went down to Warhammer Fest with two of my friends, Lyle and Thomas, shout out on the channel, and immediately, straight away, leaving the taxi at the GMX, aka Warhammer, Manchester Central it's called now. I'm going to call it the GMX because that's what I'm from, Manchester. It's always been known as the GMX. So when we went to the Warhammer Fest at the GMX, I was walking up the path to claim my ticket, and straight away someone came over and went, hey Valrak, love the content. I was like, oh mate, thank you very much, it's great to meet you. And I was like, oh, if you're taking stuff back to your car. And this individual was like, nope, I'm leaving. I've drove like 3-4 hours all the way up here, queued up, and it's an absolute nightmare inside. It's just horrible. Now, straight away, alarm bells should have been going off. I was like, maybe he's just experienced something pretty bad, and he's took it the wrong way. But as soon as I went through, as soon as I claimed my ticket and I walked into the main hall, so for people who don't know the GMX, like, it's this massive building, just huge. It actually used to be the old train station in Manchester many years back. So there's a lot of space in here. I've been to this place many times, raves, job fairs when I was in high school and stuff. So I know the GMX. I've been in there so many bloody times. So I've seen it set out in different weird ways, and I have to say this was probably the worst I've ever seen an event which has been advertised like this set out. It was so bloody strange. So when you went through straight away, there was like this amazing walkthrough, like barricades and smoke and stuff. I was like, okay, this is looking kind of awesome. This is looking kind of amazing. Then once you went round like the side doors into it, there was just this void of space, just void, like just nothing there, just packed full of bodies. And then there was just like stalls like into the middle of it. And once you started walking into the middle of it, the stalls themselves weren't spread out properly. They should have been spread out properly. It was just stall upon stall upon stall. Sorry, my phone went off, so there's probably going to be a little bit of a cut in the video. So there's just stall upon stall upon stall. Like, on themselves, there was the Cubicle 7, there was a Focus stall, there was a Tacticus stall, the Titan Walk game, which was incredible. Hats off to those gentlemen. Combat cards, if I'm not mistaken. And I actually felt sorry for these vendors because there were so many people who wanted to go to those vendors, but the amount of space they were given to actually preview their products was absolutely ludicrous, especially so with how much space they actually had in the GMEX left to just absolutely nothing, just nothing around it. And as I mentioned, like there was a lot of people at this event, especially on the Saturday event, and a lot of them people are bringing backpacks because they're traveling and stuff. So it turned into like kind of like a bumper car, like you're going through people are swinging around, you're docking and everything like that. I must have been in there 10 minutes, and I said, I need to get out of here. I actually went to the Golden Throne room, which it was a room on its own where you could just go in and relax and chill, and it had sandwiches and tea and stuff like that. But I was with a bunch of friends, so I'm not going to be like eating sandwiches and looking at them through the window going, ha ha ha, peasants. So I was like, screw it. Let's just go outside. Let's chill. I actually went to Weatherspoons for like, a couple of hours. We got some drinks in and stuff like that, ordering it off the table as we normally do on these Valfest adventures. Then I went back in more towards the evening where it died down a little bit, but it was still absolutely insane. Now, the official GW stuff, so when I say official GW stuff, it was their store, it was the Golden Demon, and it was the preview of 10th edition. Come and learn to play 10th edition. I thought these were absolutely done stupidly. Again, it's all down to the space. I think the Golden Demon could have been on one wall, the shop could have been on another wall, and then you could have had the 10th edition preview all on its own in the middle where these voids of space was. There was another thing that they did is where they put the preview of the new 10th edition box set models in between the shop and in between the tables of, come and learn to play 10th edition, which created like a funnel of people, like a sea of people, which you just couldn't get through. So even if you wanted to get to that cabinet, it was like a fight to get to it. And of course, it's only like this, like one small. It's like that. It was like a cabinet like that, probably a little bit smaller than that, with the models in there. Just one set of models, like not another cabinet with all of them in grey, or a couple of cabinets with some of them in grey, so people can see the actual models, not painting and stuff like that. And it was. Again, it was so badly placed. Like I actually just didn't want to see the models. I was like, you know what, I cannot be bothered at all to try and fight my way through people just to see some little models. Now, in terms of wanting to play 10th edition, which I massively wanted to do, new edition coming out, it's incredible. I wanted to play that. They only had 5 boards. 5 boards set up. So 5 staff members, which again, I'm not calling the staff members out at all. Those chaps who are running those games from 8 to like 6 in the evening, I tip my cap to you, right? Hats off, because you have an iron will. You probably put Tribal Sons, because they were just constantly playing, being enthusiastic, getting people to try and have fun and stuff like that. But they only had 5 of those boards. And for the event which they were talking about, it's 6 to 8,000 minimum, right? Minimum. I'm talking about 6,000 minimum coming through. People want to be looking at this, playing this. To have 5 boards is absolutely ridiculous. Whoever was in charge of that, surely you should know, right? You know how many tickets you're selling to this event. You know how many people are going to walk through the door. You've been hyping the goddamn product up now for the past couple of weeks, and to only have 5 boards out to show people was stupid. The queue itself was between like 3 and 4.5 hours. I actually walked past the queue, like, should I just jump in the queue and just wait? And there was a guy asleep in the queue. No lie. A guy on his back, head on his rucksack, asleep. And I was like, no, not even doing it. And again, I go back to the point that how much space was there. They could have easily put 5, 10 more boards in that hall with ease. I know there's a lot of space taken up by the tournament players. That's probably a whole subject within itself. I don't think they need that many tournaments there, but of course, Warhammer Fest people want to play tournaments, so I get that type of stuff. But the space that wasn't used was literally ridiculous. I'm sure some people say, yeah, but the models were painted, it was this, it was that, etc. Mate, I don't mind playing with plastic models, like non-painted models, if I'm just learning like an introductory game to 10th edition. It doesn't have to be tabletop standard, it has to be best standard. Just build the models, mold lines on them. I don't care. I'm there to play the game. I'm not there to judge the quality of the paint job of the model. So that was a massive, huge letdown in terms of them hyping this edition and you getting to play it. I'm just not waiting, 3 to 4 hours in a bloody queue. By the way, there was no chairs on day one in the queue. You had to stand up, and with someone like me who has had injuries falling off roofs, it was April, I physically couldn't do it anyway because it would literally ruin my back and my ankle. Like my ankle's like held on by a couple of screws. So yeah, that's not for me. What else was there? The shop. The shop was an absolute disaster day one, and I'm sure Games Workshop lost a lot of product because no one was watching the shops. So the shop queue was like 2.5 hours just to queue up to buy stuff, to purchase stuff. Of course, a lot of people got vouchers for their tickets, so they want to spend their vouchers. So I can understand why the queue was like that. But again, the placement for where it was, I think that could have been managed way better, like incredibly better. And as I mentioned, I'm sure they lost a lot of product because no one was watching the shop at all. Like it was just go to the till on your own and pay for it, and there was just no one there. And I'm not saying you're a thief, but there's thieves out there, and I'm sure if they would have come across that situation, it would have been free real estate. They actually fixed this on the third day. On the third day, they put like a bunch of barriers out, and there was security staff stopping people from like walking out and stuff like that. So I'm sure they was advised that people were stealing stock, and they fixed it, but a little bit too late. I truly think they oversold the event. They oversold the hype. Like the things to do at the event, or should I say the lack of things to do at the event, was just shambolic. Absolutely shambolic. Again, hats off to the cosplayers who were there. Iron Warrior Cosplay and all his mates and everyone who came with their cosplay costumes. You actually made the event way more enjoyable, seeing these awesome people going around, showing off their love for Warhammer, actually mixing with people, getting pictures and stuff. That was incredible. If you compare this to like the last Games Day or Warhammer Fest, which we had at the Rico Arena, if I'm not mistaken, was it 2019, right before COVID hit? Remember, like, you had, like, stalls out with the designers, you can chat to the designers, you can chat to painters, there was a painting stand there, like, like Duncan, I think, was it Duncan sat down, he was painting stuff, there was a little painting seminar, everything like that. There was none of that this time. It was all monetized, all behind, purchase this ticket to do this, to do that. It was all about money, I felt, this Warhammer Fest, and that, for me, Fest is not about that. Yeah, you can argue that GW itself as a product, and well, you can't argue, it's plain as sight, really, that, it's a very expensive product, but to then start monetizing some of the best bits about Fest itself is, again, it's just absolutely scummy, in my opinion. Like, I used to love going around speaking to the designers, getting their thoughts and feedback, like what inspired him to do that, sitting down and just having a chat with someone who enjoys Warhammer as much as me. None of that this time. It was just the tournament stuff at the top. Let's play 10th edition, or try to play 10th edition if you want to queue up, the shop, the Golden Demon, and, a couple of the vendors showing off some Warhammer products, which, again, nothing against them. The Bolt Gun looked good. The Cubicle 7 staff, I talked to the Tacticus staff, they were amazing. The Titan Walk guys, they were putting on an amazing display for people, the cosplay people putting stuff. But from Games Workshop themselves, it was just nothing. It was an absolutely horrible run, organised event. I did not enjoy it one bit in terms of the event itself. Meeting people there, and I'm sure a lot of people have already said this, like, one of the best things for me was actually meeting people of this channel. Meeting you, I'm sure some of you chaps came over to me and said hello to me and everything like that. Getting pictures of you chaps, you know, talking about, you know, your 40k armies, 40k lore and everything. That was literally the highlight. Like, without that, it's yeah, I probably just would have been screaming into this microphone, into this camera now, because you guys actually made it bearable for me at that event. Really, to really end this video, I'm sorry if I'm going on ranting and it's just all bollocks to you, but it was just boring. It was boring. It was queues everywhere, queues upon queues upon queues, queue to see the Golden Demon, queue to see this, queue to see that. And again, I could skip it, but I'm not one of them people like, I've got a golden ticket. Screw you guys, like walking past. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. You know, I'm with friends and stuff. I'm enjoying the event, or trying to enjoy the event with friends. But yeah, I think it was probably one of the worst run events I've ever been to. Not Games Workshop, ever have been to. And I frequently visit city matches, which are awful getting on the metro for people who know that stuff. The metro queue was smaller than the GW queues. Again, take that for what you will on match days. But yeah, on that note, people have been asking me to make this video. Here it is. I've made it. It was an awful event. Will I go back to the next one? I don't know. If it's at the GMEX again, probably yeah, because it's just around the corner from there. If it's somewhere else, probably not. I think they've really stepped back in terms of quality, what they've done. Whoever's running this, hopefully you see this video and trying to improve it, because it was absolutely shambles. I always say you couldn't run a piss up in a brewery. This was a perfect example. You couldn't run a Warhammer Fest at Warhammer Fest. That is how bad it bloody was. It really, really was that bad for me. Again, if you loved it, if you enjoyed it, good for you. One more thing as well. I did apply for a content creator pass. They did give me permission for it, but I didn't pick that content creator pass up. To be fair, again, with the event, I'm like, this is not for me. But apparently, if you did have a content creator pass, you got invited to a private walk around on Sunday. Now, even though I had a content creator, but I never picked it up, so I don't know about this. I was never invited to it. Which, again, you know, I'm not blaming Games Workshop there. I'm sure sometimes, I don't know if they like me or not. I'm not going into that in this video. Maybe I had to claim the content creator pass to know about it, or something like that. I'm really not too sure. But I know, like, yeah, Valrak, you know, what do you mean you didn't like it? Didn't you go to like your private little walk around and stuff? And I was like, I've learned that from other people posting social media posts about it. No, I was with you chaps, fighting my way through the crowds to try and look at some little plastic crack in a cabinet. Right. I don't know where this video is going. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. If you've got any thoughts, feedback about your experience about Warhammer Fest, I'd love you to post it down below, and we can have a nice little talk down there, as we always do. See you now. Have a great day, and bye-bye.